My wife and I entered into an open marriage at her request. Now she wants to close it up again. My wife and I have been married for 15 years. We have 2 children, a 14-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy. About a year and a half ago, my wife came to me asking for an open marriage. She said she was bored with just us and wanted to experience more. I was very against this, as I am a strong believer that marriage is between 2 people. At the same time, when we got married I'd had 5 sexual partners and my wife had only been with me. She made it clear that either we open things up or she was prepared to file for divorce. Neither of us wanted that, so I agreed under certain conditions. Nobody brought back to the house, we don't talk about partners, the kids don't know, family doesn't know, all partners are tested ahead of time, nobody that we both know, etc. I had a strong suspicion that my wife had someone in mind, and this was confirmed when 24 hours after we agreed, she went out and didn't return until 4 a.m. It was difficult for me to accept, and I was really not okay with it, but I wanted to save my marriage. Last May I met Amber. Our daughters are in marching band together. Amber is divorced and has no interest in getting married again. Like everyone else in the world she does have needs. So 5 months after opening up the marriage, I began sleeping with Amber. At first it felt like cheating, but honestly it's nice to have something with no strings where neither of us wants it to proceed forward. Over time I became comfortable with the idea that my wife and I would be able to get our needs met both inside and outside of our marriage. It actually made our sex life a lot more passionate, and we were much happier. My wife and her side guy, who I never met, stopped seeing each other in April amid coronavirus. From what I gather, while he's in an open marriage, his wife is not aware, and it was too hard to get away. In May we helped organize a Zoom concert for the band kids, which turned out great, though my wife met Amber for the first time. Well, I guess Amber has been open with a few of the moms because it got back to my wife that Amber was my outside partner. My wife informed me that as we both know Amber, I needed to end things with her. I refused, citing the fact that neither of us knew her ahead of time, and the meeting did not violate the rules we established. Throughout the past month she's numerous times told me that she's uncomfortable with me continuing to sleep with Amber and I need to conclude the arrangement. Note that she was fine for a year where she was with her partner. This weekend she came to me and stated that she'd like to close our marriage again. I told her I was open to that as long as we agreed that it would remain closed moving forward. She agreed that's what she wants as well, that she doesn't need to have any more partners, that she's happy with just me. I told her that we could agree to close the marriage on 2 conditions. The first I laid out above. The second, I wanted her to sign a document waiving spousal support in the event of divorce. She flipped out. She categorically refused to even consider that. My wife is a stay-at-home mom and has not worked since we got married. She said that I could keep seeing Amber and leave her with nothing if she signed that. I told her that I'd be willing to include a list of mutually agreed upon situations including infidelity on my part where the agreement would be void. She says it's not open for discussion, that she's not going to continue to be cheated on and left with nothing when I decide to leave her for Amber. I pointed out that this whole thing was her idea and that I only went along with it to preserve our marriage. She says that if we don't close the marriage up, then it might as well be over. I told her that I'm not going to tolerate being threatened with divorce every time she doesn't get her way. She says I'm being dramatic and I need to focus on us. Should I agree without stipulations? I know there's no future with Amber as we've both agreed it's purely physical, and even though I know I'm standing my ground, I feel like I'm blowing up my marriage over a dead end. At the same time, I don't believe it's about Amber at all. Update 1. So based on what some of you have said here, this morning I called Amber up, reminded her that we were supposed to keep things discreet, and asked who she shared the details of our liaison with. She denied telling anyone, and I didn't get the feeling she was lying. I pulled up my wife's Google timeline history and discovered that she tracked me to Amber's house in April. She followed me and then deliberately introduced herself to Amber to create a conflict. Here I was thinking she actually wanted to get involved in band parents, but no, she just wanted to try to end things with my outside partner. I don't even know what to do at this point. Update 2. It's been a very tough month. I confronted my wife about the stalking. She denied it at first and then I brought up her location history. She attempted to deflect, claiming I invaded her privacy, but I didn't take the bait. Finally she admitted that she didn't like that I had someone on the side when she didn't, and a mom at the school felt too close to home. I agreed that I would end things with Amber if she would agree to counseling, close the marriage up permanently, and start looking for a job to help with household expenses. She replied that she's a stay-at-home mom. I told her it was something we could revisit after coronavirus is over, but when things normalize, she can't just stay home. We did a few therapy sessions and things went well at first. The therapist challenged her on why she had followed me, asked why she felt she had to go outside the marriage, and had her address pretty much everything going through my mind. Then things went south. She admitted her outside partner was someone from her past, a high school boyfriend. They'd broken up before anything happened, and had reconnected. She regretted not going all the way with him in high school and decided that she wanted to fulfill that desire. I was pissed. I told her that if me choosing a mom from school was too close to home, then her choosing a married ex-boyfriend was completely unacceptable. I told her I didn't even want to look at her. I checked into a hotel to go cool off because I didn't want my kids to see me like that. I stayed there for a few days and then decided to go home and deal with what was left of my marriage. When I got home, I found that my daughter was being unusually cold to me. Even for a 14-year-old girl, she was very dismissive. When I asked her what was going on, she went off on me for cheating on mom with a band mom. I asked her where she heard this. She wouldn't tell me at first, telling me it didn't matter, but then finally admitted her mother told her that I was staying at my girlfriend's house after I left. I counted to 10 in my head, told her it wasn't true, showed her the receipt on my phone for the hotel, and told her that her mother and I had a fight and I decided to take some time away so we could both calm down. She cried a lot and I promised her that I loved her and I'd always love her. I did my best to remain calm though I was burning up inside. I didn't even go to my wife. I went on Facebook and found the guy's wife. I sent her a message letting her know that for a year and a half her husband had been having an affair with my wife and I'd be happy to send her any proof she'd like. She was very appreciative, and had suspected something was up. A few hours later, my wife came to me in a rage screaming that I had violated the confidentiality of our therapy and ruined the guy's life. I asked her what she meant to do by telling our daughter that I had a girlfriend. She denied doing it and still refuses to admit that she told her anything other than I was away for a few days. This went down last Thursday. We haven't spoken to each other since. We're supposed to have another counseling session tomorrow, though I don't know if it's even worth going. I keep catching her in lies and I don't think I'll ever be able to trust her again. I know that filing for divorce is the wise choice at this point, but I feel sick thinking about it. I feel like a failure because I couldn't make my marriage work. I know that's where it's going to end up. I just feel like I'm going to throw up every time I try to call an attorney.
Husband wanted an open marriage and is now mad at me for seeing someone, plus update and ongoing issue. We have been married for 2 years and together for almost 6. Yet beginning of last year, he told me he has room in his heart for more than one woman and is a man for more than one partner. He wanted an open marriage. It was so hard for me to agree to it, but the minute I did, he started seeing this beautiful attractive girl. I can't even explain how painful it was to know that I'm not enough for him, that he's spending time with someone else. And he did. From spending nights with her to texting her when we were supposed to be spending time together, I'd literally cry myself to sleep every night while he was with her or home sleeping after hanging out with her. I even met someone, but I just couldn't open up to that guy because of how much I love my husband. I finally gave in a few months ago. I started letting the new guy take me on dates, to his place, etc. He's been so good to me, and that's all I needed after feeling like I'm not enough for my husband. I feel attractive and worthy again. Last month, new guy took me out of town for my birthday weekend. Happy birthday text is all I got from my husband. Since that, it's like my husband suddenly realized that we're married. He wants to spend time together, gets jealous when I'm not home. Now he's saying he wants a baby, which I'm not against, but would like to wait until our relationship is more stable. Well, he disagrees. He thinks that I'm prioritizing my boyfriend over our relationship and family, and that's not what an open marriage is about. He's now wanting to stop everything and go back to being monogamous. I'm not ready for that. He got to decide when this started. Why does he get to decide when it ends? Why did he wait until I started being happy again? Sorry for the long post/rant, but any advice? Update 1. Welp, I was going to wait until this weekend to have a talk with my husband about getting a divorce. I wanted to think things through before ending the 6-year relationship. I still took my distances, stopped having sex, and hanging out with him. I barely talked to him since my last post and even refused his gifts. So guess what he did yesterday? Went to new guy's office and tried to get into a fight with him, yelling and screaming about how new guy sleeps with married women and should be ashamed of himself. making it seem like new guy was helping me cheat on my husband, which is not the case because open marriage, right? New guy is now pissed. He said he wants to be with me, but doesn't want to have to deal with a crazy husband. He wants to take a break until I get things figured out with my husband. How am I supposed to do that though? Still planning on getting a divorce, but I can't control my husband? Could this be his way of dumping me? So much drama, and so much to think about. Any advice? Update 2. Hey friends, just wanted to post a quick update. We got the divorce process started. Right before that though, my ex-husband was able to meet with my dad, who's always liked him, and told him how I cheated on him and then insisted on having an open marriage when I got caught. So now I can't even go to my family's house, because my dad is mad at me and won't hear me out. Pretty sure he told some of our common friends the same thing because they won't answer my texts. I was able to move into an apartment and now I'm just waiting for things to calm down with my family and for the divorce to be finalized. Oh, and I could lose my job soon because someone left some serious bad reviews on the website and now I'm being investigated. So I've been home this whole week. I have no one to talk to, unless I decide to finally answer my husband's texts. Even new guy hasn't been talking to me. So yeah, that's how my life's going. Any advice on how to deal with the loneliness? And thank you so much for your support through this whole thing. You guys rock.
She forced me to open the relationship. But now she's demanding we become exclusive again. I'm just so over it at this point. My fiancé demanded we open the relationship earlier this year. She told me she wanted to explore a side of her and felt safe doing it with me. I was adamantly against it, but she said she contemplated leaving me and I broke down. Like a moron, I allowed her to bully me into opening the relationship. It's been 6 months and now her tune has changed entirely. At first, she was ecstatic. She almost instantly found a guy who she hooked up with. I'm almost 100% sure she was planning on having sex with him anyway, and this was all just a way for her to do it above board. I guess it didn't work out though, because after a month he was gone, and as far as I'm aware she's not found another partner since. At first, I planned not to try and find another partner. But, my resentment towards her and an opportunity arose, and the next thing I knew I began to see an old friend from college who always seemed to have a crush on me. Instantly, my fiancée changed her tune about the whole thing. She never outright told me what she thought, but I know for a fact she resented every moment I was with someone else. I could see it eating her away. I knew it hurt her ego when I would come home from my casual fling with my friend. She never said anything though. Until now. Last week, another opportunity arose. An old coworker I've been talking to asked if I would be down. I said sure. When I told fiancé about this, she broke down crying and said she wanted to close the relationship again. Said it made her feel unloved and useless to see me with another woman, and now the prospect of a second is destroying her inside. She tried to use the same tactics she did before. She's gaslighting and using emotional manipulation to try and get out of this. Last night she tried to bully me again into closing the relationship. I told her I would think about it, but right now this is the bed she made and she needs to learn to sleep in it. She ended up calling her mother sometime last night, as well as I woke up to dozens of texts from her parents telling me I'm horrible. I'm gonna call off the marriage this week and break up with her. I'm going to continue seeing my old college friend, because at least she is not lying and manipulative. This is the end of today's stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon.